Psalms 89 verse 14. Justice and judgment are the inhabitants of thy throne. Mercy and truth shall go before thy face. Giving our praises to Jehovah Hashem Yeshua for giving me the spirit to do this lesson. And I want to say double honors to all the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and Kwame Ashrala to the house of David, in the power of the Ruach HaKodesh. So Psalms 89:15. Blessed is the people that know the joyful sound. They shall walk, O Yahweh, in the light of thy countenance. In the name they rejoice all day, and in thy righteousness shall they be exalted. So justice and judgment are the inhabitants of thy throne. Mercy and truth shall go before thy face. So here's the scales of justice. We're going to take a good look, a little look at the what Google has to say about this word here that gets thrown around a lot, and gets abused a lot, and it doesn't get dealt with in righteousness. Let's look at this. So we've got the scales there. That's how it's supposed to be, and that's how it is right now. In this kingdom, it's either too towards the left or too much towards the right. But it's supposed to be like that. And when our kingdom is set up, this is how it's going to be. It's going to be done in righteousness. It's going to be balanced. Because our King, Yahweh Shai, is going to bring balance to this earth once again in our kingdom and throughout the whole universe. And Yaharatazar, we're all in that number to be preserved and selected to be under that rule, that kingdom rule, and rule also, the 144,000 rule also under Yahweh Shai, under King David, in righteousness. And we're looking forward to that, because we've seen too much of that. We've seen too much of this wickedness. We've seen too much of that injustice, and we've experienced too much of it too. Yeah, man. I saw some videos the other day on social media. They're talking about the V. They was talking about the V. In Austria, campaigning for the V. So it was impressive, actually. It was quite impressive, because when you actually look at the woman, she keeled over right in the midst of her lecture. She keeled over. It was actually something that you might call justice. An Austrian MP campaigning for I nearly said it, for the serpent juice, lost consciousness while speaking in Parliament. So I'm not gonna play it. People have seen it. People know what time it is, and more than once. There's probably a lot more. There's probably a lot more that happened as well. It's probably happened, and they've tried to keep it. They tried to silence it. So this is what's happening, man, and that's what you call justice. Yeah, I got a precept for that. Because we're going to look at 1 and 2 precepts, and Yaharatazar, we're going to some examples of when something is not done in righteousness, it's done wrong. Psalms 39:7 says, 14. Yeah, this is what's happening now with the serpent juice. The Most High is feeding them with their own serpent juice, keeling over right in the midst of their doing campaigning for the serpent juices. Psalms 37, man. Psalms 37:14 says, the wicked have drawn out the sword and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy, and to slay such as to be of upright conversation. Their sword shall enter unto their own heart, and their bow shall be broken. That was a perfect example, of getting a taste of your own medicine. I'm going to start using that term more often, because most are going to start feeding you. All their wicked is so-called professional people. You're going to start feeding you with your own medicine, and That's precepts. That's scriptural. That's scriptures. Feeding you with your own medicine. Your children now. They're going to start giving it to them too. Now, between 5 and 11 years old, start feeding them with the serpent juice. Your children with your own medicine. All praises to Yahweh Shemashai. Justice is coming in the earth. It's going to come. It's going to clean up shop. Here's another example. Can a prophet go off? Can a man of the Lord go off? Let's see what happens here in 2 Samuel 12. And if a man of the Lord can go off. And we start from 1. Read a couple of these verses. And the Lord said, I'm going to read it verbatim. And the Lord sent Nathan to David, and he came unto him and said unto him, there were 2 men in the city, the one rich and the other poor. The rich man had exceedingly many flocks and herds, but the poor man had nothing, save one little lamb. So the rich man had many flocks, and the poor one only had one, which he had brought and nourished up. And it grew up together with him, and with his children he did eat of his own meat, and drank of his own cup, and lay in his bosom, and was unto him, lay in his bosoms, and was unto him as a daughter. So he was happy to have that one little lamb, that he really cherished. He really cherished it like as if it was his own daughter, as it says there. And there came a traveller unto the rich man, and spared to take off his own flock. Right, so as it goes on, of his own flock, of his own herd, to dress for the wayfaring man that came unto him, but took the poor man's lamb and dressed it for the man that was come to him. So the wealthy man comes along and takes away the poor man's one lamb, and he's got a lot of his own lamb, but he takes the one lamb that the poor man has and keeps it to himself. This is a prophet Nathan. He's breaking down a little what you might call a metaphor. And David's anger grew hot, and kindled against the man, and said to Nathan, as the Lord liveth, the man that hath done this thing shall surely die. Right, David's anger kindled in him, which was his justice, and rightly so, because he saw the injustice in what the wealthy man with had many lambs comes along and takes the one man's lamb, and he saw the injustice in that, so he grew angry, rightly so, and he shall restore the lamb. Right, so he grew angry. I read it again. And David's anger was greatly kindled against the man, and he said to Nathan, as the Lord liveth, the man that hath done this thing shall surely die, and he shall restore the lamb fourfold, because he did this thing, and because he had no pity. Right. And Nathan said to David, thou art the man. Thus saith the Lord God of Israel, I anointed thee king. So he's saying it was you that did it, King David. Why are you so mad? And it was you that did it. Thou art the man. Thus saith the Lord God of Israel, I anointed thee king over Israel, and I delivered thee out of the hand of Saul, and I gave thee thy master's house and thy master's wives unto the bosom, and gave thee the house of Israel and of Judah. And if that had been too little, I would have moreover given unto thee such thing. Right, and if that had been too little, I would moreover have given unto thee such things. He would have given him more. This is after he sinned. He took that. He sinned against with Bathsheba, and let me carry on. And he gave thee the master's house and the master's wives unto thy bosom, and gave thee the house of Israel and of Judah. And if that had been too little, I would have moreover have given thee such things. Therefore hast thou despised the commandment of Yahweh thy power, to do evil in thy sight. Thou hast killed, here's the husband of Bathsheba, Uriah, the Hittite, with the sword, and has taken his wife. Right, Uriah, the husband of Bathsheba, he killed him. Taken his wife taken thy wife, and has slain him with the sword of the children of Amnon. So that was after he committed adultery, which Nathan done a very, very good metaphor for David to really get involved in that. His passion and his emotion got really involved in it, but he didn't know that metaphor was talking about him. That illustration was talking about him. His justice got involved in it, and he said that man. He says there in 5, David's anger was greatly kindled against the man, and he said to Nathan, as the Lord liveth, the man that hath done this thing shall surely die. Right. And not only that, he said that man should be put to death, and he shall restore the lamb fourfold, because he did this thing, and because he had no pity. So that man should be put, first of all, you have to be alive, so he should pay compensation, restore that thing, and pay and give back more, maybe double, maybe even more than that. Give compensation, and then that man should be put to death. And then he didn't realize, right? He didn't realize, and Nathan said to David, thou art the man. So when he realized it was talking about him, everything must have calmed down quick. Thou art the man, thus saith the Lord God of Israel, I anointed thee king over Israel, and I delivered thee out of the hand of Israel. So there's a lot of things you can draw out of that. There's a lot of lessons, morals to the story, but we're dealing with justice. Can a man of the Lord, can a king rule unjustly? Well, we saw there what happened. He maybe became, or you might say he started to get that sense of entitlement, and started to, we know he loved woman. King David was a man, a man who was a red-blooded man, but he was a righteous man, but he loved woman. So that got the better of him. Lust got the better of him at that particular time, and he started to rule in emotion. He started to rule, and justice went out the window. So justice, let's look at the word justice. What does Google have to say about justice? Because everybody say they want justice, and they're talking about they want to give this. It's going to clean up. It's going to help everybody. If everybody gets the V, takes the serpent's juice, everybody going to be safe. And they're trying to set the V people against the un-V people. People with the serpent juice, they're trying to set them against each other. So, I think it's 67% over there in America have taken it or haven't taken it. Let's check. Let's just check a little quick. Let's just check what they're saying. I got my little snapshot here. 67% or something like that. Haven't got the V. Or need to get it. Haven't got the V. 67 million eligible Americans remain who haven't got the serpent juice. 67 million eligible Americans remain without the serpent juice. So they're saying that, you see, that's everybody needs to get it in order for everything to for everything to open up and everybody get back to normal again. So what they're going to do, they're going to try and set the V's against the unV'd. So let's look at the word justice, because there's a moral to the story. Since the first modern day, we looked at the scales, and it's very, very imbalanced. You've got either too far to the left or too far to the right. Yahushua must come back to set everything balanced. Since the first modern day legal system began in Rome, the scales of justice have been used to symbolize, the scales of justice have been used to symbolize the balance between truth and fairness. Sought after in the justice system, although often depicted alone, the scales are frequently held by Lady Justice. That's just that matriarchy in it, that matriarchy crap. Lady Justice, in Latin, the Roman goddess of justice. Justita. Lady Justice, I can't pronounce that. Justita. Yeah? In Latin, the Roman goddess of justice. Holy for rubbish. Right. So Yahushua is going, he's the rule, you know, which we're going to be ruled under Yahweh Yahushua, under King David, the 144,000 in righteousness and in justice. We're going to look at the word in the blue letter as well. Justice. What does it say here? What do the scales of justice symbolize? The scales of justice, right? These represent impartiality, and we know this. We know we know we don't see none of that, and we ain't gonna see it in this kingdom, because you know we got the wicked people, as it Deuteronomy 28, talking about what kind of people gonna be ruling over us, man. Cold people, and we ain't gonna see justice until Yahweh shall come back. Impartiality, right? What does scales of justice represent or symbolize? It's supposed to represent impartiality and the obligation of the law through its representative to weigh the evidence presented to the court. Each side of the legal case needs to be looked at and comparisons made as justice is supposed to be done. Not done, supposed to be done. Because this is a big fraud. So yeah, so that's my favorite one right there. My favorite scales right there, because right now we're getting these. This is what we're seeing now. Either too far to the left, too far to the right. When Yahushua come back, this is what we're gonna see. We're gonna be under that justice and judgment. Let's hit a precept, and then we're gonna look at the word in the blue letter. Just look at this precept, and then we're going to go to the one I opened up with, because we're going to go straight to the blue letter after that. And there's a lot of precepts that come up when you just tap in justice in the blue letter. Psalms 89 and 14. Justice and judgment are the inhabitants of thy throne. Mercy and truth shall go before thy face. Right. That's why we're looking forward to Yahweh. We're hastening the day of Yahweh Shai to come back, so that we can get a breath of fresh air of justice. We know what the true meaning of justice is, or experience the true meaning of justice. Just a whiff of that, we're going to be healed, man. You know, Yahweh Shai come back with healing in his wings. So if we go to justice now, we go to the precept Psalms 89 and 14, and then go to the word justice.
Strong's H6664.
Yeah, because
Tzedek. Tzedek.
So we're looking at it on the phone, because every time I try to get it on my my tabletop computer, for some reason it's just not going to it. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you what happens. Let me show you what happens. That's the blue letter on my tabletop. Try to go to it. Look, some of you computer wizards might know what's going on there. I don't know what's going on there. Your connection is not private or something, and it's not going to it. So that's the blue letter. I can't get it, but it's alright. I'll go to it on my phone. You know, some of you Levites might know what's going on there. You know, you computer man that know about the computer thing. But I'll get it on the my phone. It's alright.
Strong's H6664. Tzedek. Tzedek.
So, right, let's go to the first online biblical usage, justice. It's a word that gets thrown about, like I say, it gets thrown about, and it gets trodden on, it gets used, and it gets abused, and it's only in a certain people's favour. And all we get is, you know, they say justice delayed is justice delayed is no justice. There's a term that goes something along them lines. Justice delayed is justice denied. That's the term that we know about. Justice delayed is justice denied, because we get it delayed. Oh, you might, maybe next week, you know. Oh, the case has been adjourned, and the case has been adjourned to next month. The case has been adjourned to next year, and next thing you know, it fades out of memory because you ain't getting no justice. Justice, right? Online biblical usage. Justice, righteousness, right? This is in the blue letter now. What is right or just or normal, righteous, justness of ways and measures, righteousness in government, right? That's our government. We're going to be set up. We can't wait. Of judges, rulers, kings, of law. We just looked at David. David actually, well, there was a moral in the story there. The moral is, we're going to come back to it. The moral is, if you leave the judgment of the Most High, if you get caught up in your own position, or if you start to rule in an unjust way and forget the laws, there's consequences, man. And a man can go off. A man can go off if he starts to go either too far to the left, right? You start to stop listening to your whole YL Shai, too far to the left, too far to the right. But if you get back on course, which David did get back on course, but he was punished, you know, as the scripture goes on to carry on reading about in 2 Samuel 12, as it goes on to say he had to have problems in his own household for it, which the Most High was merciful to him. He could have been put to death for that, for going off, you know, on that one occasion. That was actually premeditated, you know, what he did. That was premeditated murder, because he wanted the woman of the man. That was adultery on steroids, man. But because he was a man that was loved, he was a man that was loved of the Most High, beloved. The Most High showed him mercy, but he still made an example of him. That's the point. He made an example of him. And a man can go off if he goes off. If he goes off, he can go off. If he goes off and leaves the Most High, even temporarily, you can go off. And people suffer when you go off. People do suffer. There can be a domino effect. If a righteous man goes off, there can be a domino effect. So that's how serious it was, and that's why he had to be punished. So we're looking at the word righteousness. It's a small word, but it's a very, very big word. It's a small word in this kingdom, but it's a massive word. And people have to... like I was watching boxing, right? And the brothers know me, they know I like my boxing. And I'm watching this and I'm saying, I know what I'm going to expect, because I'm saying to myself, you got this so-called Gypsy King, and you got Deontay Wilder, a black man. People say, oh, there's no such thing as race, but this so-called Gypsy King has got a reputation. You know, they say a criminal record as long as your arm. You know, if someone's got a criminal record as long as your arm, come on, man. And I learned at a very young age, you know, if you play, don't play with cheats. You play once and you find out someone's a cheat, you don't play with them again. And that's just to me, that's common sense. To me, that's common sense. And so you're fighting, not only are you fighting this nice 6'9" heavyweight, right, with all his skills, because he's got skills and he can fight, and he might even be a Jake, right? But he's as far as they're concerned, this is a white man, as far as they're concerned. And they're looking for that white hope. So who's behind this guy? He's got his own God. And what is his God? What is Gypsy King's God? Gypsy King's God, if you look into the word gyp, what it means, God of deception and lies, man. And then you got the white supremacy behind him too. On top of you, Deontay Wilder is fighting the big 6'9" guy. He's fighting white supremacy, right? And if you don't understand white supremacy, what it means, white supremacy, what it means, everything you think you understand will only confuse you. If you don't understand white supremacy, what it means, everything you think you understand will only confuse you. In other words, you was fighting the whole world was not behind this guy. White supremacy, a system of racist people, a system. All you got to do is just look into that word, white supremacy. That's what you was fighting, and you was fighting his supporters. So you was fighting the system, the corruption in the boxing game, which is white supremacy. The only way he was going to win that guy was if you knock him out clean. And don't think that for 1 minute, and I'm talking as a man, don't think for 1 minute someone didn't give that guy, oh, you got a third fight, a trilogy. Deontay Wilder had to fight like mad to get the trilogy. He had to go to arbitration to get him to get back in the ring, because Tyson Fury said, I ain't getting back in the ring with that guy again. So he got him to get him back into the ring by taking him to court. And so he has to face him. That means he has to go back into the ring with him. He was ordered by the court for him to get back in the ring with Deontay Wilder. So what happens now? You got the White Hope now, who didn't want to go back into the ring with Deontay Wilder, and they're saying, because it's become an issue now of race issue, black against white, which is real. I'm talking as a man, like I say. If you don't understand white supremacy, what it is and exactly how it works, everything you think you understand will only confuse you. You're dealing with some injustice system, Deontay Wilder. And another thing, you got to start calling upon your God. Leave all that ancestry shit, African bullshit alone. You ain't no African. You're a Hebrew Israelite. You understand? And you got to start calling upon Yahweh. Why Yahushua? Not Jesus, not God, not ancestry, not African, not all that African rubbish, whatever it is you're into. Yahweh, why Yahushua? Yahweh, he is, that's God, what Christians call God. He is, because he's real. And Yahushua, he saves, he delivers. He would have delivered you, but you know what? The only way to be delivered from some white supremacists is to stay away from them, because they don't play fair. So you was up against it, white supremacy, and you don't understand what you was up against, because you don't understand white supremacy, and you're not calling upon your own God. So you weren't going to win. So someone phoned him, because he had to get back in the ring with him. Some unknown person phoned him. I'm talking through the spirit now. Said, you got to get back in the ring with Deontay Wilder? Tyson Fury says, yeah. So, okay, I've got something for you. The white supremacists, who will remain unknown, which is the white supremacist people, the system, said, okay, we got something for you, and read between the lines. We got something for you. It's legal. In other words, take this. You understand? They got their super soldiers. They got super soldiers, man, and they got things that they give them. Take this, the super soldiers. What you see, Esau's got he's got his military. And they got super soldiers out there, and it's real. Yeah, you see it in their movies, man. You see it in their movies like Captain America. Yeah, they give them a little thing, inject them with a little thing. Next thing you know, they're running like lightning. They're strong as Superman. They're faster than a speeding bullet. Superman, super soldiers thing, heavy, high level witchcraft. That's why they change the referee, all that kind of thing. You got to know. You got. I'm talking through the spirit. You got Captain America, and you also, if you saw the movie, I'm gonna get back on. I'm actually I'm on the subject of justice, so I haven't gone anywhere. I'm on the subject of justice and injustice. So if you saw the movie Incredible Hulk, the 2008 movie, when he had to go up against that abomination who was a super soldier. We saw when he jumped out of the college wall, and he faced that super soldier. Then the super soldier says, and he's fighting him, and he's standing his ground, and the sergeant says he's doing it, and then he eventually got knocked out. But that guy was a super soldier. They gave him some high level thing. They gave him a high level tablet, what you might call something to enhance his strength, to make him fearless and to make him extra strong, right? Some super soldier high level thing. They gave him that. So someone phoned up that guy, Tyson Fury, and said, I got something for you. It's legal, and it makes you strong, and you won't have no fear. You go forward, you take all Deontay Wilder's punches, and even if you get up, you got the power of recovery on some high level super soldier stuff. Roids, they call it roids in the boxing game. Steroids. He was on that. Some high level stuff from some high level people who deal with military, high level military. So it's in all their movies. The Incredible Hulk, that guy was injected super soldier was injected with some high level stuff, and he became a force to be reckoned with. Hulk had to deal with him, but Hulk had to get extra strong. Hulk don't take drugs. Hulk is naturally strong because he gets in. The madder he gets, the stronger he gets. So he's got natural strength. But the super soldier was injected. It was just an ordinary man, was injected in his spine with some high level super soldier steroids, and it made him an abomination. And Hulk beat him in the end. He strangled him and knocked him out because Hulk was in tune with his own strength. But Deontay Wilder, you're not calling upon your God. Bottom line, you're not calling upon your God. Yahweh Yahusha is your God, not Christ or Jesus, and not no African thing, ancestry rubbish. So that's why you lost. You lost against white supremacy, and you're not calling upon your God. Bottom line, that's it in a nutshell. So that was injustice, right? So if you really want to win, Deontay Wilder, you have to start calling upon your God. You understand? His name is Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Yahusha, and you will win. You will be victorious. And if it's written that you come back in that game, which I can't see it, but yeah, many things. There's many things that we don't know. You know, who can understand the mind of Yahweh Yahusha? The king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh. So if it's written that you get back in that ring, or if it's written that you stay out of it, because you as you said in your tweet, the learning is in the lesson. If you have any kind of spirituality about you, the learning is in the lesson. It might mean you have to get out of that corrupt sport. That's what that might mean. The learning is in the lesson that you got in the ring. So the lesson might be you might have to get out of that corrupt sport and start calling upon the true name of Yahweh Yahusha, and leave all that corruption alone, and let all the wicked white supremacy, let them deal with that. They got their God, you got to get yours. Right, let's get back onto this. So we're looking at this word justice, right? Judges, rulers, kings of law. There's no justice in this kingdom. We're on the online Blue Letter, online biblical usage, right? Of David, King, Messiah of Jerusalem, as seat of just government. That's when we're going to start to get justice. Let me shut the window one sec. That's the only time we're going to see true justice, is when King David, Messiah of Jerusalem, has a seat of just government, of God's attribute, right? Justice, righteousness, in case of cause. I'm just reading it verbatim. Righteous in speech, righteous in ethically right, righteousness as vindicated. So we're going to be vindicated. We've got to take our L's though, because as you said, which was true, the lesson is in the learning is in the lesson, and we're learning. We're taking L's. We've took our L's, which will be turned into W's anyway. We've took our losses, which will be turned into W's, wins, because the learning is in the lesson, and we're going to be victorious, right? Vindicated. We're going to be vindicated. Justification in controversy, right? And they love that Tyson Fury. Everywhere he goes, he controversy follows him, because he's got a criminal record of cheating as long as your arm, probably as long as his arm, and his arms are pretty long, as long as his legs, that criminal record that he's got. 6'9", it's probably as long as his body, that criminal record that he's got. You understand? Yeah.